From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MVW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
And broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neil McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome to this Fireway Friday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neil McCready, Clark Ford Studio this morning, where we answer the questions you have for us on the message board at rebelgrove.com. We'll get through several of those. One day away from Ole Miss and Southeastern Louisiana tomorrow, 3 o'clock from Vaught Hemingway Stadium. The Lions and the Rebels, and mutual respect going both ways all week in interviews. So we'll get to some football stuff and more, whatever you have for us on the show, brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Ribs, lunch specials, $4.99 for those. 2 sides bread, 32-ounce drink. Daiquiris as low as $3.99. As big as 44 ounces if you'd like a brain freeze and a little buzz to go with your Friday. So if you're driving into town tomorrow, stop in. You get great gas prices courtesy of the Mobile Rewards Program, the Speed Pass Plus app, and more. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call the number, ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what new Ford you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's that simple, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. Just get a great product, and the rest is up to you. You get a great quote, the rest is up to you, I should say. You can shop that quote around, or you can go ahead and hop into that great product. You'll love it. You'll love the service you'll get after the sale. Corey wants to be your truck guy. He wants to be your car guy, and he will prove it to you. He's proven it to me over and over. He'll do the same thing to you. 662-257-1900.
Neil made a post on rebelgrove.com, but if you're a follower of any of our content that's not a podcast, or if you're just a follower of our podcast, I guess maybe, please go to our YouTube page, subscribe. It's completely free. It'll take you like 2 seconds. But essentially, if we get to 1,000 subs, it allows us to do some different things. It allows you the ability to watch us on the app, and it would be very, very helpful. We're trying to plan some stuff, trying to elevate that type of content. So do me a favor. Do Neil a favor. Go subscribe.
Yeah, basically, if you we joke around about J.G. Tate and stuff. Jay and I were taping a Greatest Pod in the South yesterday, and Jay's been on the Auburn beat for
about 20 years.
21 seasons, long time, hard to believe. He and I started on the Auburn beat together. Put that into perspective. Terry Bowden's final season. And he did not go to Auburn-Tulane Saturday. And he's not going to Auburn-Kent State this Saturday. And the reason is he's sending his people to the game to get game coverage, because post-game coverage is so rote these days, for lack of a better word, and he's doing a live call-in show. The minute that the Auburn broadcast ends, the Auburn Network broadcast, the minute they sign off and say, "Until next week, War Eagle," or whatever, he hits the button, and it was crazy successful. And frankly, it's genius. And it's the kind of product that you provide to a specific demographic, in his case, Auburn fans. He was still doing the show. Auburn and Tulane played a 6:30 kick last week, I think. He wrapped up around 1:30 in the morning. His last call was an Auburn fan from Hawaii. He had at one point, and look, they're just getting started. He's just figuring it out. He's troubleshooting and all that stuff. Had more than 500 concurrents at one point. On a night when Auburn played Tulane.
Night game.
Not
starting till 10:30.
So imagine the success he might have when
Georgia
Auburn
at 2:30.
plays. Yeah, exactly. Big game. They either win, everybody's fired up. They lose,
everybody's pissed off. Yeah.
But and yes, people go, "You're just trying to monetize." Yes, absolutely. But it runs more than that. Three things about monetizing. One, yeah, everybody likes to make money. The people who don't like to make money, I don't get them. I don't understand, and kudos. Two, the more money we make, the more money we can put back into the site. allows us to hire people, allows us to try new things.
Things do have to be purchased with this. We're not at the point technologically, but we can get there quickly.
Yeah. And so if we can get to 1,000 here pretty quick, we'll do some post-game stuff. I think it's a vehicle for basketball coverage. I think it's a vehicle for baseball coverage. I think it is a vehicle for more interaction. I think it allows people to get content faster, get it live. They don't have to wait for us to, like right now, we do an instant analysis after a game that's sometimes.
Well, not instant, because this would be instant.
And it's not truly instant. This would be instant. You could get it live, and if you didn't get it live, you'd still be able to watch the recorded version of it. So it's where things are going. It's as access gets more and more difficult, I think it's where our jobs are going.
More analysis-based, more entertainment-based, and essentially more niche-based.
Yeah. You're an Ole Miss fan. You want Ole Miss commentary about an Ole Miss game, and there it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's where it's going, and for us to get there, we need to get up to
1,000.
We need to get up to 1,000.
Then it needs to be over that too, but 1,000 is the barrier for what we have to accomplish.
Yeah, we started the morning at 769, I believe, and as of this moment, we're at 842.
It's going up.
We're moving. We're getting there. I feel like
it's a little bit of a slog, but hey,
I feel like, what was his name? Jerry Lewis, the telethon.
Oh yeah.
You keep just looking at. Remember that Labor Day telethon? You don't remember. As a kid, I remember it vividly. Anyway, we're at 842. We'd appreciate it if you do it. I'm going to tweet it out in a minute. It's on my personal Facebook. It's on the Rebel Grove Facebook. It's at rebelgrove.com. So if you listen to our podcast and you don't subscribe to Rebel Grove, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, do us a favor.
Yeah, I didn't grow up in the TV stage where if the president was on, you missed Flipper every night or anything. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that was real. If the president spoke,
hey,
the president spoke.
That's all you got on every channel. That's good. That's it. Oh, gosh. All right. Getting into questions. I had to laugh at this one a little bit. Getting opened up. Are you going to ask Longo if he sends graphics to the dozens of analysts that call him out for being a bad OC as well? Here's what's funny about that. So, talk about in the podcast. As the day is going on, I'm getting DMs from some other media members, some other people who got the exact same DMs at different times of the day. So he apparently just had a list, and he was running through the list and through it. Even got a couple subscribers saying, hey, he interacted with me at some point in this way. Like, it became a Longo variety hour yesterday throughout the day. It was good.
I feel like really good about myself that I was not on that list.
Yeah, there were several people on the list. It was a list. I got screenshots from multiple people showing me the times they got them. Little club yesterday.
That's funny.
I was pretty early on. 6 was the earliest I saw. So
6 a.m.?
Yeah. 6 a.m. Apparently, some of them got sent at some point last year at like 4 in the morning to some people. 4 in the morning, going to send some DM to some media members.
Is it passive-aggressive, or is it him just being promotional?
I think he's just being promotional, right?
That's what I think. I don't think he had anything against you.
No. I mean, he was pleasant when we interacted. I mean, he's fine. Whatever. Yeah. It's all good.
He and I were pleasant. We never had a conversation.
Did you not?
Never. Other than football questions, in a media setting. Never once had an informal.
Very football nerd.
Never once had an informal conversation of any sort.
How's the kids and them?
Nothing.
Okay. It's fair.
Of all the coaches you've covered, who are the ones who've ever asked you about your life in some degree?
Football?
Anything.
I mean, the baseball staff, but I'm around them so much.
Yeah.
That's different. Because, I mean, we talk about this all the time, but when you're covering a baseball practice, you're there for 35 minutes just standing around. I mean, at some point, you got to walk over and speak to somebody because it's. And I mean, it's been the same staff for a while too. I mean, that's different. But no, I mean, there's been other things. I mean, when Andy was there, I didn't even cover him, but he'd ask personal questions.
Sure,
hey, what's up? What's going on? Early on, even some basketball assistants that I really had not much relationship with, Mike White, Torrey Ward, those kind of guys would do it.
Bill Armstrong.
Yeah. Football, I mean, there's been some on most staffs. Dave Womack, Dan Werner,
yeah.
Chris Vaughn, just off the top of my head. I mean, I'm
Thank
just
God for Chris Vaughn.
I had a running conversation with Freddie Roach not too long ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know. Just a few from time to time. Now look, could any of them name my kid or something? Nah, no chance.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, just base level stuff occasionally. Yeah, sure.
I used to talk running with who was the DB coach on Freeze's staff at the beginning?
His first staff was Dameron, Shebus.
No,
that was
Freeze.
not. Sorry, Freeze.
He came over from Oklahoma State.
Jason Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jason Jones.
He was interested in marathon stuff.
Really?
Yeah, that interested him, or he pretended to be interested.
Okay. Back in the real long day ago, Orgeron's DC John Thompson was a guy that would talk constantly with about your family and stuff. Real engaging from a family standpoint.
Kim Dameron was that way.
Yeah. There's been some. I mean, yeah, you run into humans.
When I was covering Auburn back in the day on Tupperville's staff, it was full of guys like that. Eddie Gran, Noel Mazzoni, Hugh Knoll.
Some of it was just a different time. There was more just...
Well, there was more interaction.
It was easier. It was different.
There was more interaction. On a Monday, like there was no media op, but I would go over to the building and kind of get some stuff and just visit and say hello and not plop down and hang out, but just say hi. And guys got to know you a little bit. It's not that way anymore. Now it's pretty...
Very regimented.
Yeah. They know you by your face, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm. It's probably fair. Let's see. This is your show, so I'll throw this at you. More awkward moment in the office: Scott's tots or when Michael kissed Oscar?
The Scott's tots was great. It was great. He'd promised spoiler alert, he had promised when they were little kids that if they all graduated high school that their college education would be paid for. and then when the time came, of course there was no money. It was painful. I mean, like you almost wanted to fast forward through it. And then the Oscar stuff was could you do that TV now?
Even just a decade later or whatever it is.
Where it's clearly funny. It's clearly meant to be funny. It's not, no one's bashing homosexuals, but it's revelatory of just how, I mean, Michael Scott had no social skills. He as bad as he wanted to have social skills, he was so awkward, and so he would outwardly say things about Oscar, who was gay, that in the show really wasn't meant to offend Oscar, but of course it did, and it was funny, and you'd laugh, but you were laughing at what was essentially a gay joke. Are you allowed to laugh at a gay joke now?
Probably not right now, but I do think, I mean, it's in the early stages, but I mean, there is some pushback in comedy toward that direction. I mean, Netflix doing Chappelle and some of those things where it's intentionally what wouldn't have been over the top decades ago, but relative to our current humor and our current climate is over the top, and they're going, hey, comedy is meant to be this. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
Without apology, if you will. So, but I do think we get to a point, like everything in history, we start moving back. I do think we move back and forth on a curve.
Where you make fun of people, but it's not really meant to make fun. I mean,
it's not malicious.
If I got offended every time someone came up to me and said, "Hey, can you bend over just a second? I want to check my reflection in my bald head."
Yeah.
My God, I'd be offended a lot.
Yeah, the low-hanging fruit should just be available. And,
yeah,
I mean, come on, whatever. If you can find a way to make it funny, have at it.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Sarcasm is seen as offensive now. So it's ridiculous. People want, no, just tell me the absolute, literal meaning of everything. It's like, oh my God.
I am going to have meatloaf on Monday night at 6 p.m.
Yeah, have some personality.
I will have enchiladas on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. I will leave my house at 7:01, not 7:00 or 7:02, 7:01. I don't relate to those people. I know they exist, but there's some people that there's no sense of humor even at all. None. Zero. You can't make a joke.
Let's see. To me, what's in the bag and best course you played over the summer? I really didn't travel much for golf over the summer. Played Mossy Oak last week. I still like it more and more every time I play it. It's just different, something you don't usually get in Mississippi. And I think I've only bought 2 golf clubs in like the last 6 months or something, which is, hey, for golfers, that's pretty good. I added a hybrid Rogue to my bag, and then I replaced a couple wedges. I use Cleveland wedges, so that's it. But for the most part, my bag stayed the same. I have not made any huge purchases. Since I had some credit and got a Rogue driver at the end of last year, I guess. So, something like that. So, anyway. Let's see. To you, better NFL career, Kyler or Dwayne Haskins?
I didn't see Haskins in week 1. I saw a lot of Kyler. Kyler had a really good second half. You got to give a lot of credit to Kingsbury, too. That first half was scary. And they really rebounded. I don't know. I'll say Kyler. Today's NFL is adapting to his style of game.
Okay. Oxonian Rev, $1 million in case you get it correct. Well, that'd be nice. Chase, Pickering, Robbins, or an outsider, what would you place the odds right now? Well, I mean, look, if I get $1 million, if I just get any of those 3 choices, I'm going to take the outsider and go with the field. Because I think Pickering and Robbins, if I had to put money on one person, would be 2 of the 3 people I'd probably put money on.
Okay.
But I still would take the field over either one of them necessarily. I think I'm close to having a little more info on some potential, not just candidates, but real candidates. I've actually got a good many candidates that I'm aware of, but people that I think have a legitimate chance, or at least have a resume that's palatable for a lot of people. We can put it that way, maybe.
I'll ask the question that everyone's asking right now at their radio. When are you going to publish this list?
Maybe later today. I don't know. Well, I got a couple things I got to get done first. I need a couple things.
Okay.
So it's close. I will say that, I mean, and this is obvious. Like, it's happened with Vitter too. There are successful people in the education field or in other fields that are going to apply and have applied for this position. I mean, it's not some deal where, this is why I've been kind of careful. Everybody goes, hey, what about this person and this person and this person? And, how are they going to stack up? Well, we don't know who else applied. There's always going to be people from other places that want to be the chancellor of an SEC institution. I mean, duh. Like, that's whatever. So, no, there's some very talented people with pretty good resumes that have applied for this job. Now, getting to the finalist list and figuring out how that's going to shake out, whole another story. But we'll see. I still expect the interviewees for the round or whatever to be done here fairly soon, where they cut it to, I guess, give or take 8, I think is the number. Like, I don't think it's a hard number, but I think it's give somewhere around 8. And then I think from 8 they cut to 3, and then they choose the one. So I think the first round of cuts, if you will, is happening now or is within the next week or so, best I can tell.
Okay.
So, let's see. Is it common for a coach, university employee to slide in your DMs?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty
Yes.
common. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, typically it's you've already set up a relationship with that person, so it's not odd when it comes in. I mean,
Who's the most pissed off person that slid into your DMs? I can probably tell the story now because he's not here anymore.
Who?
Ross.
On which one? On what occasion?
When Ole Miss had beaten Vanderbilt, 2017.
Oh,
remember that
day? Yeah.
Ole Miss had beaten Vanderbilt. It was that night. It was game 1 of the 2017 NLCS that night, Cubs-Dodgers.
It was the Shea Patterson night.
Yeah. There's a lot happened that day.
It was the Shea Patterson day that he got mad at us and the whole Sean Patterson thing happened.
So after the game, Sean Toohey and company came in. They come in after wins. For the record, I don't like boosters and stuff at post-game press conferences. It turns it into an event. It's supposed to be a press conference. I'm old school. I'm open about this. People know I feel this way. It's all good. It's cool. I took a picture of Sean Tuohy and tweeted it and said, "Don't tell me Chad Morris isn't a candidate." And Ross did not take night. Did not.
Your
Ross,
lighthearted humor did not.
Ross was not in a good mood. He'd probably had a rough day. Probably did not.
Had a lot going on.
Had a lot going on at the time.
Yeah. We did not really realize everything at the moment.
And he sent me a pretty nasty direct message. And right about the time that I got it, the Cubs had a 2-0 lead, and that lead was disappearing with the Cubs bullpen had come into the contest. And the Cubs bullpen was and is an issue, an Achilles heel, if you will. And as the Dodgers tied the game, and it was obvious that the Dodgers were not only going to tie the game, but they were going to win the game, I responded. Our responses were not particularly friendly to one another. We kissed and made up, but it was all good, but it was pretty funny. Looking back on it, it was pretty funny because I thought the tweet was innocent, and he thought it was Bush League.
I think it was just a catalyst to everything else that was.
He did not like Ross. Did not like it at all.
Not a fan.
No, you're not a fan. Had I known what was coming in the next couple of years, I would have just sent a big thumbs up emoji back at him, and we'd have been done. But I didn't have any idea that we'd be headed to Texas A&M.
Kick 'em.
Did you like that on my A&M thing, Texas A&M, and Neil's picks, Texas A&M Lamar? I had nothing to say, so I just used lyrics from the Cult.
I didn't. Pretty good.
Thank you. See, I thought it was really good, and very few people captured it. I thought,
I think a lot of people didn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used lyrics from the Cult's, probably one of their 2 most famous songs.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, typically you have phone numbers for people, so DM is a little less. Like, DM's a little different. But if you just said text overall, I mean, yeah, you'll get people griping at you from time to time. I mean, ADs typically, if you kind of piss somebody off about something, are good about that. Rob Reinstuttle was a pain in my tail constantly when he was here.
I bet.
Oh gosh. Yeah, there's a few. I mean, it happens. It's not that common. I mean, for the most part, it's all live and let live. But yeah, nonetheless. Continue your questions in 1 second. First, tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Stoughton County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. So you're getting local underwriting and understands your market. A leader in condo financing, the float down option, and with rates as low as they've been in about 2 years. Good time to talk to Jason, 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
Hey, if you're coming in this weekend, maybe you're coming in next weekend, you want to check out Splinter Creek. It's a gated conservation community located 8 miles southwest of Oxford, 75 minutes from the Memphis airport. If you're thinking about making Oxford a retirement home, thinking about just moving to Oxford, thinking about getting away, a little bit away from the city, but close enough where you can enjoy all of the benefits that living in Oxford provides, Splinter Creek would be awesome. It is gorgeous. You can check it out for yourself at splintercreekms.com. Get in touch with Tom Smith Land and Homes. Talk to one of their agents and set up a tour. You can tour the model home. You can tour the huge property. 601-898-2772. It's 34 lakefront lots ranging in size from 2 to 25 acres, 650 acres of lakes, pine, and hardwood forest. The lakes are the main streets of Splinter Creek. They each have a combination of docks, floating piers, a pavilion with fire pit, outdoor kitchen for use by homeowners, their families, and guests. The lakes are stocked with copper-nose bluegill, brim, and largemouth bass. It's just absolutely gorgeous. The bodies of water are professionally managed monthly by American Sportfish. It's one of the largest producers of live freshwater fish for stocking in the southeast U.S. It's beautiful land. You should go check it out, if for no other reason, just to look at it. But if you're interested in moving to Oxford and making it a permanent home, making it your retirement home, highly recommend that you check that out. Again, it's splintercreekms.com, 601-898-2772. If you're coming in this weekend, you want to stock up on your beer for the weekend, highly recommend Jackson Beer Company, 1801 Jackson Avenue West in Oxford. It's hidden back a little bit, worth finding. Great selection, best selection in Oxford. It's not even close. They have 10 beer taps for sampling and growler fill. You can mix your own pack of beers from their single shelf with more than 350 beers to choose from. Ask about their kegs to go. Join their text program for special deals. It's JBeer, JBEER, to 51660. Check them out on Facebook and Twitter at Jackson Beer Co. or on Instagram at Jackson Beer Company. We're also brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans. This week, Blue Delta has been in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. They've been in Austin, Houston, Atlanta. If you live in one of those areas and you want to get a private fitting, send them an email, info@bluedeltajeans.com to book an appointment. Blue Delta is now the official jean of the USA Ryder Cup team. We've been telling you for a while that Blue Delta is great for golf tournaments, and this partnership with Ryder Cup, now there couldn't be a more ideal product to bring to your golf club for tournaments and events. And the Gino is out in the open now. They're continuing to pre-sell this fabric. It's soft, comfortable, great group of colors. The Gino sewing will begin on Halloween, so don't miss the opportunity and reserve your spot in the first run of this great new fabric line from Blue Delta Jeans. And if you're searching for a unique way to brand your company swag, have a special event to memorialize, highly recommend Dead Soxy. They've got you covered with their custom sock program. Click on the custom socks link and they'll walk you through the entire process, from the complimentary digital mock-up before your order is placed to delivery logistics and even custom packaging. Dead Soxy is your place to create a gift they will use time and time again. With all-inclusive pricing, no upcharges or fine print, the custom sock design process is as simple as it gets. Head over to deadsoxy.com, that's DEADSOXY.com/custom. Remember, you can still save 30% on general orders with the promo code Rebel Grove. And as always, stay Soxy.
Podcast is brought to you by Mastercuts Lawn and Landscape, premium lawn care throughout northern Mississippi, but a lot more as well, from custom playgrounds, retaining walls, pool decks, outdoor living spaces with paper patios, forestry mulching, and much more. The path to your dream backyard, easier than you think with Mastercuts. Get a free quote at gomastercuts.com or 662-607-7773. Again, gomastercuts.com. Let's see, baseball related with Plumlee and Ely. Ever really contributed to this baseball team, and if so, how impactful could they be? I mean, look, here's the problem, is that football is so time demanding that it feels like if you don't have a lot of early success with baseball, it makes you much more likely to potentially just go to football. I think Plumlee might be more ready for a more prominent role right now. Ely obviously has an incredibly high ceiling, but how raw is it? How quick can he adapt to the college level? How much time does he have to adapt to the college level? That goes for both those guys. Plumlee's a quarterback. I don't know. I mean, I think early on this season, the goal would be just find a niche and hopefully contribute in some niche way, see where it starts, and then go from there. So I don't know. They're both very capable, but it's a time struggle. Sinquest struggled with it. A lot of people struggle with it. Some people dominate it. I mean, there have been some LSU players that have done a good job with it, but for the most part, you don't necessarily anticipate a big role early on because they're just not going to be out there. I mean, you're talking about somebody who's not going to have any fall reps at all. They're going to get there in the spring, and they're still going to have some football stuff to do. So it's tough. That's the answer.
Yeah, the answer is it just rarely happens. The people who think that those guys are going to walk into the starting lineup over there, you don't understand.
It's hard. There's good players over there that do nothing but baseball 365 days a year.
It's where sports has gone today. It happens at a much younger age than these guys being freshmen in college. You have to pick a sport. You have to pick it early. I see it in middle school. Carson doesn't play travel baseball, and the kids who do have passed him. Carson plays travel soccer, and when they had soccer tryouts, some of the kids who were pretty good athletes came out and tried out for soccer, had no chance. They didn't have the skill set, the footwork, the ability to handle the ball. Specialized sports.
At that age. Even.
At 12.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it's wrong. I could go on a diatribe about it. It upsets people. People get offended. They get hurt. They get triggered. Professional people tell me I'm right, but it's not worth the fight. We'll see these things. You're seeing it in baseball with all these major league pitchers in their early 20s having to have Tommy John.
What is your top 5 favorite cookies? And if you had to make a cookie platter of 10, how would you build it? What do you got?
I like peanut butter cookies.
Yeah, that would not be on our list together. I'm not a peanut butter person. I mean, chocolate chip obviously came to the top of my mind because I'm a chocolate person.
I like oatmeal chocolate chip. I like oatmeal cookies.
I've become a huge – this is weird. I couldn't stand them for most of my life, and I've become really a huge fan of oatmeal raisin cookies over the last, 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just do.
I don't like raisins, so I wouldn't eat oatmeal
Does a
raisin.
macaroon count as a cookie?
I think so.
Does it?
Yeah.
Then that's on there. Like the pastry, not the coconut thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely there. There's a couple Girl Scout cookies I could eat a lot of boxes of if I allowed myself.
Yeah, I like tag-alongs. We've had this conversation before. I like the Samoas.
The coconut ones are good, yeah.
The Do-si-dos, the peanut butter.
Fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I mean, I like a good chocolate chip cookie. I'll be honest.
Warm.
Yeah, I'll be honest though. Sweets are not my thing. Like I can get away from sweets and I'm perfectly good. Now, if I have a sweet craving, I'll just have like one square of 92% dark chocolate and just.
So that has no sweet to it at all.
Has just a little, and that's all I need.
I don't like dark chocolate, but it's not sweet.
Yeah, I just don't. It's not my weakness. Is not that. My weakness is beer, bread. I love bread, like grilled bread with olive oil. Oh my God! I mean, I love it. That's my downfall if I have one. It's not sweets. Like if you told me that I couldn't have sweets again, I'd be okay. It's cool. I'm fine. But if you told me I couldn't have bread again,
that'd be a problem.
I'd be devastated. Years ago, it would have been the opposite. I loved sweets, but now
Palate's changed a little bit.
I think it's mental. I think I know that sweets are just sugar. It just makes you fat. It's not good. So I have developed such a mental thing about that kind of food that I really don't even enjoy it. When people say, "Oh, just let yourself have it," the whole like if I have a bowl of ice cream, the entire time that I'm eating the ice cream, I'm thinking about how bad this is. So there's no enjoyment at all. I'm better off just not doing it.
The internet says most popular cookie types in America are peanut butter cookies, Oreos, oatmeal raisin, white chocolate chip macadamia nut, sugar cookies, shortbread, and M&M cookies.
Shortbread's so dry sometimes.
I can't stand a sugar cookie. It does nothing for me.
It does nothing for me. I got a hot take here. I'm not crazy about Oreos.
I told a friend this yesterday that I do not like Oreos and they were flabbergasted. And I said, no, I just, nuh-uh.
Like, I like, when I was a kid, I liked those Nutter Butters.
Yeah, sure.
Still like those.
Yeah, sure.
Much more than I do an Oreo. What were the other ones? The M&M cookie. I like M&M cookies, except a lot of times if there are not enough M&Ms, then it's just a sugar cookie with an occasional M&M.
And I'm not a fan of a white chocolate chip macadamia nut for the most part.
I don't even know they've ever had that.
Maybe not. Yeah, they're on the platter at football. If you ever walk by, you'll see them.
Oh,
okay. They look like a chocolate chip cookie, except they have white chocolate chips, and there's little nuts in them.
I always love we saw a lot of this last week. I'm not making fun of anybody, but the people that go by the platter and grab about 8 cookies. It's like, hey man, those jeans don't fit for a reason.
Filling up that Coke with some Dr. Pepper and head on over to the.
Yeah, I mean.
I have to really watch myself at baseball. Football, I'm really not worried about it. Baseball, I've got to really watch myself to not grab the cookies. I have such a sweet tooth that I have to fight that I really have to watch the cookies at baseball.
Yeah, because
I have to eat beforehand or bring food with me. I have to make sure I really manage it. Or, I mean, I'll gain 30 pounds during baseball season if I'm not careful and really whatever. So yeah, it's a deal. Well,
this was the first football game in a long time that I did not allow myself to have the lemonade. I like the lemonade.
You do like the lemonade,
and I did not have it. I just had all I had this time was a water.
The whole time.
The whole time, I did not eat a bite.
I had a salad with some of the pork. It was fine. Anyway. Do you think Nutter Freeze will be brought back for a Cotton or Sugar Bowl anniversary team recognition? I'm going to go yes on Nut, and I'm undecided on Freeze.
I'm going to go yes on Nut and no on Freeze.
Yeah.
I think history is going to be kinder to Houston Nutt than it's going to be to Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Let's see. I'm not going to live in a house with Phil Longo and learn his 28 plays. Sorry.
It only take 4 days.
Think so? Think we get through them pretty quickly?
4 practices and the whole offense is installed. His words, not mine.
I know. In your opinion, will the offense continue to improve and assume no significant injuries? Yeah, it will get better. They will play more games. Everyone will get more comfortable. The defenses will also play more games and get more comfortable, so you have to be ahead of the relative curve to show improvement.
Yes, they will be better, and the teams will be more prepared for what they're bringing to the table, and they'll have to execute. Because at the end of the day, it's what it all comes down to. Talent and execution.
I do not see a scenario where we move our funky shows to Friday night, frankly, just being honest, for multiple reasons, for our reasons and Funky's reasons. No, probably not.
Probably not. The only possible thing there would be an early afternoon podcast.
But
even then, I just don't know.
The crowd, and yeah, it's just tough.
What kind of crowd would we get at 4 o'clock on a Friday at Funky's?
Whatever they're getting anyway. I mean, it's pretty busy at that time. It's football weekend. There's people around. But
and
the problem is they're not there for us, so it gets so loud, it's hard to hear.
And they wouldn't want us in there because that would stop the music.
Yeah. And a lot of times they'll have even some bands on certain game weekends in that afternoon. So, yeah, that's a tough one. I do anticipate we'll be in Jackson again for the end of the year, though. So that would to suit the person who asked the question. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Let's see. Pretend you're elected as a chancellor, one of the 5 or so things you would do to implement. Well, it's not an election. An election would be interesting.
You talk about some dead people voting.
We just thought the 16 was something, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Be some hanging chads, all sorts of stuff. Goodness gracious.
You think that would go without a hitch?
That would be dirty.
You think so?
Yes, God, yes. It's I mean, it's pretty rough right now.
It's so funny.
A lot going on under the surface of that surge. Hey, we're up to 877.
Okay.
Getting closer.
Look, obvious things at the beginning. Retool how the admissions process works, how recruitment works. Get a unified dang message and be one voice. Be a more direct presence. Stop being so soft.
Stop apologizing for things that you didn't do.
Yeah, just run your university. Just run it. That's what we do here every day. Here's what we do.
Well, and also get out of this mentality of trying to please everyone.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Everything's not for everyone. Everything's not for everyone. There's lots and lots of colleges, lots of schools, lots of universities. I tell my kids all the time. I remember telling Campbell this when we started the college search thing. I told her, I said, let's take Louisiana Tech, for example, okay? There are kids at Louisiana Tech who you could walk up to them and offer them, hey, you can transfer to any place in the country right now. It's covered. They would say, no, I'm so happy here. I would never leave. You can find those kids at every school. I could go to Central Arkansas and find that. I thought of them because Ole Miss is playing volleyball there today. I could find a kid at Central Arkansas who would say, no, this is the perfect place for me. I'm perfectly happy. This is great. Troy, South Alabama, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU, fill in the blank. I could also find people who would not like those places. I could find a kid who I could send to Louisiana Tech and he or she would hate it. It's not for them. I think Ole Miss and a lot of schools, Ole Miss is guilty of it though, I think, trying to appease everyone to the point where it may not appease enough of the people it needs to appease. Get in your lane and stay in your lane. Talk about Blue Delta. They sell jeans. Everybody goes, hey, when are you guys going to do shirts? Well, we do jeans. When are you guys going to do suits? We do jeans. When are you going to do sport coats? We do jeans. And guess what? They're successful.
I can make you a denim sport coat if you'd like one.
They might.
Yeah.
But they do jeans.
They do jeans.
Their bread and butter is jeans. And they stay in their lane. The best steakhouses, when you go into a steakhouse, they sell steak.
Small menu.
Got some sides, but you're there for the steak. Figure that out. You got to figure that out. You know, it's and when like I use Blue Delta as an example all the time because I think they're such an amazing story. They freely admit, hey, we're not for everybody. And that's okay. It doesn't make you a bad person that you're not for them. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It just, you're not for everybody. And I think Ole Miss has to get back into that and quit doing this. Well, you know, something bad happened here in 1962. It'd be like if Dallas, literally every company that thought about moving to Dallas said, well, you know, we need to talk about 1963 because something bad happened. And it did. But you got to let it go and move on and recognize it's here. We recognize it. Ole Miss, I think, has gone over the top with all the contextualizing and all the stuff and just move on. Be who you are. Figure out who you are and get a fluffy shark and be done with it.
It's one of the main things. You mentioned the restaurant. It's one of the main things where I will just stare at somebody is you talk to somebody and go, hey, that steakhouse sucked. Or really, what'd you order? The chicken.
Why'd you do that? I mean,
that's on you, bud.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I got the salmon.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's okay. But that's not what they do. That's not their wheelhouse. If you go into a steakhouse and you ask the person, what do you recommend, and he or she, your waiter, says anything other than a couple of different cuts of steak, get up and leave. Yeah. Pay your
we have a Cajun chicken pasta tonight that's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, come on. So your steak's bad. I'm out.
Yeah. Do you want the ribeye? Do you want the filet? Would you like the strip? Yeah, those are your options today.
If they tell you, I would get the bone-in ribeye.
It's phenomenal tonight.
It is phenomenal.
Okay.
Now, our filet is excellent, too. But if you're asking me, now that's, okay, ball game. We're in the.
Yeah, if you'd like to decorate the plate with some cream spinach, okay, have at it. But, yeah, don't really care.
I've actually heard that at a steakhouse where I said, what sides do you recommend? Doesn't matter.
Just pick one.
Get the steak.
Yeah, get the steak. The shrimp cocktail's fine. If you'd like.
Well.
Hey.
Oh, hold up. That's only for the special people.
I think that's what they say when you go into St. Elmo's to go, hey, what do you recommend? The shrimp cocktail.
Yeah.
The shrimp cocktail.
You're here. You should get that.
Yeah. Our cocktail sauce is phenomenal. The shrimp we flew in off the truck yesterday.
We are known for this.
Yeah. It's in
Yeah.
Indiana.
It makes no sense, but.
Geographically, are you scared of fish above certain parts of, like, in the country?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had that problem in Omaha. Is it people would be like, hey, you know, the fish, and I'm, whoa.
Oh, come on.
I'm in Omaha. Give me a steak.
There's not a fish within 2,000 miles of here. Unless it's a catfish.
Did you fly it in this morning?
Yeah.
Can you help me?
With this fresh Gulf grouper. You're in Topeka. It ain't fresh.
Hey, Red Lobster has a fresh fish menu.
Yeah, no. Yeah. And a chocolate fountain, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a Golden Corral.
I know.
Yeah,
I really, my point is
$4.99, all you can eat.
Those are all the same, yeah.
Oh, God. All right, continue.
And here's the treatment for salmonella. It's right here.
Continue in 1 second. What I'll tell you about. Visit OxfordMS.com. Go to the events page. See everything going on in town, football weekends, and just every week in general. Live on the lawn is today, 11:30 to 1 at the University Museum. Public double-decker bus tour. Say that 3 times fast. 4 to 5 today You can do that on the Friday of every home football weekend. Music and movies in the park tonight, 7 to 9 at Avent Park. Go out. I think The Blind Side is the movie
That's correct.
Tonight. Is it correct?
Okay. Yep.
Football tomorrow against Southeastern Louisiana and plenty more. So head on over to visit OxfordMS.com. See where to stay, what to eat, what to do, and see there with visitoxfordms.com.
So glad that Leanne Tui was able to discover one of the great offensive tackles of all time. Has protective instincts, really strong protective instincts. We're also brought to you by Southern Craft Stove and Tap, located off Highway 7 and Sisk Avenue. Southern Craft Stove and Tap places an emphasis on food and atmosphere, mixing the quality of fine dining with a come-as-you-are environment. Featuring 30 craft beers, offering a high-quality selection of cuisine and libations, Southern Craft Stove and Tap has you covered for any occasion. Join them for lunch, dinner, Sunday brunch, or have your favorites catered out. Catering orders placed online currently receive $25 off any order totaling $100 or more. So avoid the chaos of parking on the square this weekend and head over and experience carefully crafted dishes with your favorite Southern ingredients. Southern Craft Stove and Tap, Highway 7 and Sisk Avenue in Oxford. Podcast also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust, based in Madison, Mississippi. They've got clients in more than 20 states. They've got advisors in several states as well. They also are home to Pinnacle Trust 401k advisory services. When you work with Pinnacle Trust 401k advisory services, you gain a valuable advisory team and time-saving resource that will help you develop and maintain a solid strategy for your retirement plan. They're committed to providing you with the personalized attention and involvement that you want and need. Their goal is to help you manage your 401k plan properly and ultimately improve your employees' retirement readiness. So call Pinnacle Trust 401k Advisory Services team today, and they'll conduct a complimentary, no-obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current 401k plan. Mention that you heard about them about Pinnacle Trust on the Oxford Exxon podcast, and you'll get 10% off your first year's fees. And we're brought to you by the Westin Jackson. It's a Marriott property in downtown Jackson. It's home to Soul Spa, the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson. It's also home to Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro. Great cocktail menu, curated wine list. It's open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. All of Chef Caden's offerings are fantastic. We love it. You will too. So gather at Estelle at the Westin Jackson tonight.
Very poignant question here. One to read just because of the thought and the time put into it, if nothing else. CRW416 says, tonight I started thinking about sports' impact on my personal plight, not in the win-loss column. Daily walk through life. It seemed that reading about the Georgia pink out from Wendy Anderson, which rabbit-holed into memories of first seeing Iowa's Kinnick Wave, the Children's Hospital, Brett Favre's celebration game of his late father, watching Lauren Hill playing a basketball game from Mount St. Joseph's, and, of course, the G.W. Bush first pitch after 9/11 can provide thoughtful insight on perceived impact of sports. Regarding resiliency in life and participating actors, maybe I'm just getting old and emotional. I also enjoy personal stories and memories. Open floor to avoid football-specific questions. It's an escape. It's a lot of stuff. It's performances.
That's who you go to the game with. It's who you enjoy the game with. It's who you talk about the game with. It's
the overall.
I say this all the time. When you get away from it years down the road, the games typically don't really matter. The proof of that, for example, the Saints lost in the playoffs last year, as you well know.
Yeah.
And you joke about it. But did the loss truly impact your life? Of course not.
Affected my mood for a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe my alcohol consumption for a day.
But life goes on.
Yeah, of course.
But you remember.
It's impacted me in a negative way because I wish I gave a crap as much as I did before the Minnesota Miracle. Be honest.
Yeah.
I care less than I did 2 years ago. Now, I'll still lock in when playoff time comes. I mean, whatever. But, the other night, typically I would be a freaking basket case throwing things at the end of that Texans-Saints game when Watson hits the pass to Fuller and they score. And instead, I kind of just sat back and laughed for a second, and I was like, okay, fine, whatever.
I'll give you an example. I spent a lot of my life, not literally all of my life, but it was a frequent thing, will the Cubs ever win the World Series? And what I remember most about the night that the Cubs won the World Series is not the Cubs winning the World Series.
Oh, celebration with kids.
It was my kids. Campbell and Caroline could not care less about the Cubs. Now, they'll play along. But they stayed up that night. There was a rain delay that night. They could have gone to bed. They stayed up. They wanted to see what was going to happen. We're desperately hoping for the Cubs to win. For me. And when the Cubs won, what I remember about the Cubs winning was spraying champagne in the driveway.
Well, I mean, my two memories of the Saints playoff run when they won the Super Bowl is when they went in the NFC title game. I drove home, and I remember sitting in my car for like an hour listening to WWL on the post game. That's what I remember. I just sat there going, "Oh my God, like this is a thing." I listened to the call-in show and the post game and all that stuff, and you're kind of taking it in. And when the Super Bowl, I remember when Porter intercepts the pass, David Brandt running back in the house and grabbing me. That's what I always remember. I mean, that was kind of the thing. It was like, oh, crap, like this is whatever. I mean, yeah, it's moments, it's stuff. And, I mean, I've seen both sides of this. I mean, not to get overly sad or bring up bad topics, but, I mean, when I had that whole deal in 2015 when Clark passed away, I needed to get back to work. After like 2 weeks, it was, hey, do you need to do something? It's like, no, I need to cover a baseball game. I need some normalcy. I need to talk to a coach. I need to do something normal in my life.
Sure.
And it was, no, let me just go for a run. Let me do something here that is in my routine, what I kind of enjoy. I need an escape. And that escape was going to cover a midweek Tuesday game just to get out of the freaking house for a little while.
Sure.
Huge. I mean,
I get it.
Yeah, no, there's none of that. And even that was moments. I mean, I remember my first conversation with Mike Bianco after that. I remember a Brady Bramlett thing that happened with him that time. Yeah, there's lots of things that I pick up from sports during that time period that was so bad that they'd have resonated and stayed with me all these years later.
I remember talking to Brett Favre about playing football without his dad watching. Even as a professional, even as an MVP, a big part of football with Brett Favre was talking to his dad after games. And suddenly that wasn't there anymore. And people in his life wondered, will he like the game the same way? He wondered, will I like the game the same way? Will it mean as much to me as it always did? Everybody talks about that one game, he played right away afterwards. That was raw. I was really more interested in that season after he'd had time to process the fact that his dad wasn't going to be a part of a football season for the first time. It's odd. I mean, sports don't really matter in the truest sense. It's not life and death. It's not like, what they're going to do at Georgia is really cool. It brings people together. It makes people conscious of something. But does the Georgia-Arkansas State game tomorrow really matter? Not really. Not in the whole scheme of things. Someone might say, well, if Arkansas State beat Georgia, Georgia would be out of the playoff race. Yeah, so?
Sports. Okay.
Yeah. So? I mean, anyway, I don't know. Not sure we gave that.
I don't know. Man. I don't have a good answer here. Maybe you do from early in your career. Proudest, best day of your professional career? I haven't really thought about it. I probably should have saw this question last night and thought about it. Because there's a couple different ways to take that. You break stuff, you write things you enjoy, all that kind of stuff. There's an adrenaline rush with it, but I don't know exactly where pride or best comes in. Those are two different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, we're not reinventing the wheel here. We're not coming up with a vaccine. I mean, it's.
I don't know that I've ever had a day professionally where I thought, "Oh wow, I just did something great." I don't know that I've ever even thought about it like that. I mean, I've had days where I've broken big stories and I knew it was a big deal. And it saved my job, and I was pretty excited about that because I'd continue.
That's a positive.
I'd continue to be able to eat. But no, I don't know that I've ever had a day where I've been like super. But I'm not wired this way. I don't know that I've ever had a day where I'm like super proud of something we've.
I think my answer is not really about an accomplishment as much as we do this show every day, and I don't. It sounds somewhat like bragging. I'm really not meaning to do that. I don't really think about who listens or how many listens or anything. I'm just doing the show and going about my day. I mean, I'm not talking right now with this thing in my head of, oh, my God, you're talking to this many people. I don't know, whatever. I'm just talking.
Well, no, the proof of that is someone will say, what'd y'all talk about on the podcast today? And I don't know.
Yeah, it's robo at this point. Point being, though, I think the answer to this, and because it kind of makes me a little emotional when it happens because I don't really think about what I'm doing in this way or you're doing in this way or anybody from a podcast standpoint is doing this way. It was when something to do with this show helped somebody's day in some way, whatever, whether it be, we had a few years ago, this has stuck with me. One of our subscribers had his grandfather, who was in one of the world wars, sat in a chair and listened to the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Or had him read stuff, things like that, where it's, oh wow, there is an assistance with someone's day. That's the thing that always sticks with me because it's something I never even consider when I'm talking.
Well, I have no doubt what my biggest accomplishment professionally has been. 0. Me opening up and being honest about having some mental health stuff. Depression, where I fight it, has led to some people getting help too. That's an
actually impactful. Yeah,
that's an accomplishment.
Yeah,
that's changing someone's life in a positive way by admitting that I can be a little nuts. That's not the right word. You guys know what I'm talking about. It just
everybody's got stuff
where you battle something, and for me, I just sometimes, for lack of a better word, just kind of get dark for no reason at all. This hits me. And I sought out help years ago, and I got some tools to handle that. And now I kind of feel it coming, and I sort of know how to battle it a little bit. You never get rid of it. It's probably like alcoholism. It's never gone. You don't ever completely take the little demon and...
Always susceptible.
It's there, yeah. You just... For me, I just kind of learned how to let it have its place, but I keep it sort of locked up in its own room. But I think by talking about that, I think I've helped some other people say, hey, it's not anything to be ashamed of to go, in this case, to kind of go to the mental health tool store as well. And so if I've done that, and I think I have with a handful of people, that's a positive. The whole stuff about breaking a story and all that, I don't know.
It doesn't really matter.
It does. It's cool, and it's fun, and it makes you feel good for a minute. But people forget. I mean, I now watch. It's funny now as a 49-year-old guy to watch younger reporters breaking story about who's committed to so and so, or got the starting job, or whatever, and. Now I just think, cool, let them have it. I mean, when I was their age, I was trying to do those things too. And now I'm like, it doesn't matter. No one cares.
Which program's currently in worse shape, Tennessee or Arkansas? Also,
Tennessee.
Which has the best chance of being, quote, back to moderate respectability first?
Arkansas.
Tennessee's still a better job.
Better job.
Arkansas, though.
Yeah.
Because Arkansas, without a really specific thing, could be a really bad program.
They can.
That's not a good football state.
No. Neither's Tennessee.
You can't just go into Texas and grab kids. I mean, it's tough.
There's a theory out there with Tennessee that as Nashville grows and becomes this Atlanta-esque type city, that Tennessee is going to benefit. I'm not convinced of that. The people that migrate to Nashville
are not Tennessee fans.
And I'm not sure they're becoming Tennessee fans. Might become Titans fans.
Yeah.
Might become Predators fans.
Not Vols.
Might become Orioles fans if the Orioles move to Nashville, which is a rumor that's out there with a little more steam than I think some people realize. But I don't know that they become Vols fans any more than they become Vanderbilt fans.
Yeah. Take one last break in the podcast to tell you about G&M Pharmacy. 662-236-2222 is the phone number. You give them a call. You can get your medications transferred over if you're with someone else. You can also ask about their CBD oil options, including the new roll-on variety that they have for you there. You can also ask them about the free delivery they have to your home or workplace, and MedSync, where they fill your prescriptions the same day every month to make it easy on you. So you can find out more at gandmpharmacy.com. You can click product request and request things right there online without talking to a soul, or give them a call at 662-236-2222.
We're also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Go in, test drive one. Tell them that you heard about Grenada Nissan on the podcast. You'll get Rebel savings on top of the already great deals at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Check out John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated. Go to his Instagram, John C.T. Edwards. Looking at a photo from Bermuda. Absolutely gorgeous trip that he booked for himself. The kind of trip that he can book for you. All you have to do is get in touch with him. Give him some options. Give him some parameters. Give him a budget. He'll give you options that you don't have to find on your own. And no, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387. Or send him an email at j.edwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. Podcast also brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry's an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. Been in Oxford for more than 40 years. He's been a big part of Savannah Square. It's a new 9-acre development, 0.7 of a mile from the Oxford downtown square. If you're coming in this weekend, coming in today, Harry will be out at Savannah Square. There's several properties that are in different stages of completion. You can check them out. He'll show you around. He'll show you the model home at 215 William Street, SavannahSquareOxford.com, or give him a call or text at 662-801-5621. We're also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. It's home to Kasasa, the absolute best cash checking account. With Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000 and refund ATM fees nationwide. It's also home to a commercial checking account, now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account. Comes with fully interactive online banking. Go to liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. A few things to know. If you're coming up this weekend, you can get one conference game, one non-conference game, which includes parking for just $125. Ole Miss and Southeastern Louisiana tomorrow at 3. Tickets still remain. They can be purchased by visiting OleMissTix.com. While you're at OleMissTix.com, get your season tickets for men's and women's hoops. It's right around the corner. You don't want to miss a minute of the action of Coach Yo's women's basketball team, Coach Kermit Davis's men's team this season in the Pavilion. And if you're in town on Sunday, 1 o'clock, Ole Miss Soccer takes on South Alabama. Admission is free, so bring the family out and enjoy. And if you're looking to tailgate this weekend, it's not too late. Get in touch with Kyle and Jordan Thornton, 7 South Tailgating, 662-321-1682 or 7southtailgating.com.
So what do you think really happens with this California and NCAA deal? Will other states follow suit?
Ooh. I don't think California is going to back down. And I don't think the NCAA is going to back down. I think we are headed for a
game of chicken.
Yeah, and what you wonder, what happens in the game of chicken if neither car budges?
Yes, or this is this morning on Twitter. This is embedded into a thread at rebelgrove.com if you want to read it for yourself. Kevin Plank, the CEO, obviously, of Under Armour, he says, these are athletes driving incredible value to the institutions, and frankly, they should be fairly compensated. I'm not sure that's exactly the case today. Jay Billis quote tweets that and says, athlete pay is coming. The NCAA believes lawmakers should wait for it to change its rules at its glacial pace, but the NCAA has had over 100 years to figure it out. The federal government is about to do it for all 50 states. Yet again, the NCAA is reacting instead of leading.
Billis is very sharp. Billis is very passionate about this.
California needs a couple more big fish in the tank with them.
I'm not sure the federal government's going to jump in on this. He thinks they are.
They need Georgia, Texas, Florida kind of states to get in.
Yeah.
That's what they need.
Yeah.
Ohio, maybe.
I just don't know that the southern states are going to do that. They get a lot of pushback. You get a lot more people down here in this part of the country that are more conservative about it, that fight back on it, that say, I mean, you see it on our board. If they pay the student athletes, I'm out. And guys, here's the thing. The California thing is not paying the players a salary.
Mm-mm.
It's letting them cash in on their likeness and name.
Strictly marketing.
That's it. I'm Matt Corral, and I drive a Grenada Nissan, and you should too.
Good enough. Yeah.
Frankly, it is a life experience. But we've talked about this. But let's take Matt Corral, for example. Just use him as an example. Matt gets some endorsements. Mrs. Corral, if you're listening, I'm using your son because he's high profile. Matt gets in trouble. Does something off the field that's bad. That's embarrassing.
He would lose the endorsement.
He loses the endorsements, which is the real world. You have a job at a law firm and you go get a DUI, you're probably getting fired. Right? I mean, the NCAA loves. Go to an NCAA tournament sometime, and every TV break in the arena, they're telling you these stories of student athletes. They love to talk about the lessons that sports teaches. And for the record, I think sports do teach a lot of lessons. One of the lessons that you learn is that when you represent something, if you misrepresent it, you can get hurt. It's real world. You know, I'm take it off Ole Miss for a minute. You know, you're Tua. Tua gets arrested off the field or charged off the field with sexual assault or something. He hasn't, for the record. All of a sudden, all the people that were lining up to endorse him are no longer lining up to endorse him. In fact, they're pulling back those endorsements. That would be the real world. I don't think what California is proposing, as much as we all love to make fun of California and all that stuff, I think what they're proposing is perfectly
very common sense.
Perfectly common sense and perfectly good. Yeah. And frankly, it won't affect most of the student athletes in California who participate in intercollegiate sports. There's probably not a lot of people lined up to endorse the soccer player at UC Irvine.
Yeah.
But if you're the quarterback at USC, you should be able to cash in on your likeness.
Yeah.
It's your name. Why should I use Corral again? Why should Matt Corral not be able to profit off of Matt Corral's name and likeness? It's his. I mean, when 2 years from now, if he's a superstar quarterback in the SEC and every little boy in Oxford is running around in the stadium wearing a red Ole Miss jersey with a number 2 on it, well, they didn't all pick number 2 because they all thought number 2 was their new favorite number. They're wearing Matt Corral's jersey. Why should Matt Corral not be able to get a portion?
Still to this day, you see a lot of number 10s.
Yeah, and I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
I just, it's silly.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. All right.
What number does Tua wear? 2? Is that right?
13?
Hell, I don't know. Shows you how little. 13 maybe.
Isn't that right?
So when you see all these kids running around Tuscaloosa at Bryant-Denny, they're all wearing 13. Yeah. And they're all wearing a 13. They're not all picking that number. You know, the number that a lot of hotels skip and everything else because it's supposedly unlucky. All these kids aren't picking 13 for that reason.
I saw a thing this morning on one of the newsletters that I just get that has some stuff in it every morning that I think sometimes I might want to run the podcast. I did see this. According to the Otis Elevator Company, now that you said this, as many as 85% of the high-rises in the world don't have a 13th floor. 85%.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, they below that they put the Mitch Hedberg quote from his comedian days when he was alive. Yeah, you know, people on the 14th floor, you know what floor you're really on, right?
Yeah. Yeah, today's Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, All right, Ole Miss Southeastern Louisiana tomorrow, 3 o'clock for that one. We have a beer garden to you as well, so plenty of podcasts for your drive up, down, or wherever you're coming from tomorrow.
Yeah, there's the greatest pod in the South that's out. I'm about to put it up on the site and tweet it out and stuff, but it's out if you subscribe on iTunes or whatnot.
Okay, so subscribe to our YouTube page. Again, it is free to do so. We appreciate it. And
We're up to 906.
There we go. We'll talk to you again on Monday.